Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake. It's the Comedy Cupcake Show.
Welcome to the Comedy Cupcake Show with your favorite comedy couple, Lila, Hart, and Eric Abbenante. It is June 22nd, the Monday after Father's Day. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and we just want to talk about it. How you doing, baby girl?
I am doing great.
It was a great day at my parents' house yesterday celebrating Father's Day. We love our fathers, Phil and Bill.
Phil and Bill. That's so funny.
Grill Master Phil.
Grill Master Phil. Yeah, it was so nice to spend Father's Day with Grill Master Phil and swim in the pool. Of course, I miss my dad, Bill Hart, but he is in Washington State with my mom, Esperanza, and they, are out spending time together in the RV in the wilderness.
I love Bill. He talks like this. He's got the best accent in the world.
Yeah, that's a Louisiana accent for you.
Yeah, for those who couldn't translate my accent. Yeah. Yeah, so Bill Hart out in Eastern Washington. He's enjoying the country.
It's good. My dad works really hard, so it's nice for him to have a little bit of vacation time. But yeah, I had a great time spending time with your family. I'm so grateful that Eric's family lives here in LA. It's so nice. They're like my second parents. And of course, on Sundays, Grill Master Phil makes a great roast. So
yeah, it was great.
Nice. And he wore the cute apron we got him for his birthday present, and it actually says Grill Master Phil on the apron, which is amazing.
And it was a full family affair, actually. We had my mom's brother, and so Dan, and Dan's kid is Nikki, my cousin, who is one of the animators on Commander-in-Chief Cupcake. So it was nice. I hadn't seen her at my parents' house in like at least a year, so it was really nice.
It was really nice because it felt like a normal day, because the world's not really normal right now. But it was nice to be swimming in the pool with everyone together, and I enjoyed it a lot.
It was a crowd for 2020. It was big time.
Oh yeah, it was it was a big old crowd. But speaking of Nikki, we love having Nikki be part of the Commander-in-Chief animators. If you guys aren't following Cupcake on Instagram, you should be. It's at President Cupcake. She does have an Instagram, and we do update it with Cupcake's photos. She's a very photogenic, beautiful girl.
And we also update it with the artwork done by animators Alan Chow and Nikki Abrash. And so, yeah, it's a family affair. We are getting all of it taken care of. It's a labor of love, and they're doing some amazing work every single week. And so you'll get some glimpses of what they're doing and how the cartoon is going to look. And spoiler alert, it looks really cool.
Yeah, so follow Cupcake on Instagram. Now, our other two pets that we have on the table here with us today, this is a female beta, and this is a male beta. He's hiding in his little cave, but I thought it'd be cute to have them on our show together today.
Last time we were going to have both of them on the table, but one of them got stage fright and just was hiding and not moving the whole time.
Which was this one, but now this one's just sitting in its cave, which is so funny. Honey, do you have names for our beta fish? What do you want to name yours? It's a boy.
I like the name Buckaroo. I don't know.
Buckaroo? That's okay, so we could name him Bucky.
Yeah, Bucky's nice. What about your red one?
We'll name her Becky.
Bucky and Becky. Wow.
Bucky and Becky. Oh, look. Bucky's made an appearance.
He responded to his name. It must have worked.
I also want to give a special shout out to Esther Koo because she came by and she gave me this dress. We had a social distancing meetup in front of my townhouse, which was really nice to catch up with my friends. So thank you so much, Esther. Do you like my dress, honey?
You look smashing in it. Super lovely. I love how it fits you, and it's just it's got nice color, and it works very well with your
It's so funny.
tan skin.
I texted Esther and I sent her a picture of the dress, and she's like, "Did you have to alter it anyway?" And she's really tiny too, but I was like, I just had to like tuck the under part under my boob a little bit, and then I didn't have to do any alterations to the dress, which was nice.
If you ever need any help tucking the under part, I can always help you out. That sounds awesome.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. But yes, shout out to Esther. I love you so much. Thank you. I had so much fun hanging out with you.
But yeah, I just wanted to get into a little bit about, Father's Day and what our fathers and our parents mean to us, because we actually have a really nice relationship with, I have a great relationship with your family, and you have a great relationship with my family. I always think it's funny, for instance, my dad and Lila are very alike.
Yeah, we have similar personalities on things.
They are type A for sure.
We like to get things done, okay?
My dad is a salesman, and Lila definitely could have been a salesman with the way she is on stage. She is very good at pitching her point of view, and that's kind of what my dad does in the field. He's a great guy, and he works really hard. And same thing with Lila.
And most importantly, he is the grill master, and I like to eat. So
also he's very attentive to his health and his looks. He likes to joke he's a metrosexual.
Yeah, so we get along really well when we talk about like skin creams, which is great.
Yeah, he loves lotioning up. He's one of my favorite stories about him is he's also self-described OCD. Like, he is so clean. He cleans up the entire house whenever he wants. In fact, during football games, in the long time ago when football was aired, when he would get nervous for his beloved Detroit Lions or Michigan Wolverines, he would vacuum in the living room or wherever he could watch the TV because that was going to be good luck for his team.
Well, speaking of vacuums, Phil actually gave us our vacuum, which I love so much. So we get along because we talk about vacuuming and cleaning, and it's really wonderful. I love Phil. He's the best. So for Father's Day, I made this cute collage for my dad of our pictures together, and one of my I wanted to shout him out. Hold on. Let me look it up really quick.
Yeah, this guy who's one of Lila's fans restored one of the photos.
I'm a fan of him as well because he does photography. His name is Scott Welsh, and
Thank you, Scott Welsh.
And he's awesome. And he did a what is it called? Oh, he restored the photo of me and my dad and made it more clear. So I want to show that. Let's pop that up here.
Bam.
But yeah, thank you, Scott Welsh. I really appreciate it. It was really sweet. He just messaged me on Instagram, and he just randomly did this for me, and I thought it was really nice because it's one of my favorite pictures of me and my dad. In this photo, you can clearly see that me and my dad, we have the same nose. I get my nose from my dad.
And a very similar smile, too. He's awesome. I think also Lila gets her storytelling ability from Bill and just kind of the sense of humor in general. She gets it from both of them, but Bill is very, very funny. I didn't expect that when I first met him.
My dad FaceTimed us earlier today, and he was talking about how he's so excited for me and Eric to come up to Washington in September because he really wants to take Eric deer hunting or bear hunting, and
yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
He told me he's gonna teach me how to skin a deer, which I might be one of the first Jews since the BC era to skin something like that. I'm excited. I'm excited to show that my people can do the outdoorsy stuff as well. No, it's fun. I once had one of my dad's friends show me how to shoot a gun, and my first shot I hit the bottle, and so I'm gonna try and prove that wasn't beginner's luck.
Well, I'm excited. Did you know I've actually shot a gun before?
No. How did that go?
My dad took me out to when I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 to show me how to shoot a gun. It's very difficult. It's
Oh, yeah,
it's not easy to do.
Not as easy as it looks.
But we went out into the middle of nowhere, and my dad is from Louisiana, so he grew up hunting. He grew up like shooting squirrels and frogs and all sorts of stuff.
Dang, it's got to be hard to shoot a frog. That's impressive.
Well, I don't know about shooting frogs.
You just made that up.
I don't know. I made that up. But he's eaten frogs before, like frog legs.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I imagine it would be it'll be he'll be a good teacher. I assume of that.
It's really funny because you think about it. My dad has a country Louisiana accent, and my mom has a Filipino accent. So sometimes when if you guys follow me on Instagram, and I'll get like really excited about something, like people will be like, "What is that accent that comes out of you?" And I think it's like a mix of like Louisiana Filipino, but it's just excited, And people think like that's what it is. If I get excited and I start talking a type of way, it's because of my parents and their accents.
Yeah, they bonded over people making fun of their accents, and they bonded over not caring about what people think. I think that's cool as hell.
Yeah, my dad loves Eric. They can sit on FaceTime and talk forever, which is really cute.
Yeah, he's just a great storyteller. He just had a lot of life experience, and just a down to earth guy, and very supportive. And it was fun to have my dad and Bill meet, because my dad's more of a city slicker, I guess would be the term of it. But they got along swimmingly, and yeah, my dad just my dad and Bill's dad, they were meant to be friends, so it was pretty cool. I
just think it's cool that there's a lot about each of our dads that we get from each other. Like, there's a lot of things I appreciate about having your dad in my life, and I know vice versa. So, but mostly importantly for me, it's like I'm just so grateful that your parents live here, because it's been so hard with my parents being so far away, that I'm grateful that on Sundays we at least get to spend time with Eric's parents, and I'm constantly FaceTiming mine. So
yeah, it's really cool. My mom is 4'11" and a half, and I don't think in her wildest dreams that she thought I would be dating someone who was shorter than her and made her feel tall. So that's great. My mom's very loving as well. She's a big reason why I know how to cook for Lila.
Which, thank you so much. I'm so grateful in Eric's cooking abilities, because I would starve to death.
Yeah,
I can't cook.
This has been in this time period of 2020. It's been really important, because we don't want to rely on restaurants right now, and so it was just it's just been like a godsend. Whenever Nikki comes over to animate, I always cook meals for the whole gang, and we really enjoy that that coming together and eating a meal and talking to each other. It's a cool relationship we have. It's not just the animators do work for us. They're our best of friends.
And Eric makes really good tacos. That's what we had last Friday. Tacos.
Yeah.
Taco Friday.
I have a pretty good background in cooking for Mexican food. I'm pretty good at that. My guacamole is infamous, and then I have my own version of pico de gallo that my grandma taught me, and it has served me well. It's one of my staple meals, honestly, and so yeah, I'm just lucky that I have I have a family that taught me to cook, and
And I'm lucky because I get to eat all the cooking, and also Eric makes really good sandwiches. Isn't that funny? Like how normally it's like the woman who's like, "Oh, go make me a," or no, it's the man who's like, "Go make me a sandwich." I'm the woman that's like, "Go make me a sandwich," and he does,
yeah,
which is great.
Though the best cook is Hart. My grandma was the second best cook I knew, Grandma Rachel. She's an amazing cook, but Hart might just be a notch above, because
my mom used to actually cater for weddings and for birthday parties.
Yeah, well, it's like, me and my Grandma Rachel, I would consider us like great amateur home cooks, but we don't really have like the knife skills per se, or like the plating ability to make it look pretty. Esper is the complete package. She has amazing knife skills. She can chop everything up to like the finest, and perfect dice, and then she can make it look perfect. She just kind of blows my mind in that category. I'm like, how is that even possible? But Esper always makes it happen. She made lumpia, she made adobo chicken, and I'm looking forward for her to make more meals for me, actually.
Well, when we go to Washington, my mom will make more food.
I look forward to that. All right, so let's get an update on you, Lila. Last episode, I believe you were talking to us about the fact that you had quit coffee. And so how has that been going?
Well, it's been going great because I've got my positivity. That's right. It's called positivity, which I'm going to read you what my little tea bag message of the day is. I got 2 in here because I got the double tea bagging going. First one is develop the power of listening, which is why y'all should listen to our podcast, Comedy Cupcake Show. Great.
I like it.
And then the second one is compassion will make you beautiful.
Yeah, I do think that's something in this generation that is kind of lacking.
Yeah. That's why we got a lot of
Yeah.
craziness out there.
And I have compassion for you quitting coffee, even if you might be upset at certain times.
Well, that makes you beautiful, honey.
Aw, thank you. So what day is it on for you quitting coffee?
I think it's been a week. It's been about a week.
Nice. So,
But the key really is I had to hide the Keurig from myself. I hid the Keurig from myself. And by hide, I mean I just put it in the cupboard, and it's way too heavy for me to lift it to put up of the cupboard, so it's stuck there. But yeah, I just hid the Keurig, and now I just drink tea, and it's totally fine. But I've been taking a lot of my vitamins lately, and I just have to show off. Look at my nails. Have you ever seen nails like this?
she's like Lady Wolverine. She could stab you if she wanted.
Look at these nails. These are real nails. Real nails of mine. I take these vitamins. I take these vitamins every day. Let me show them to you guys. They're called Steel Libido. I know it sounds like I have a libido problem.
No, it sounds like a boner pill for a dude, actually. Steel Libido.
Pink for women. But they just have like a lot of good stuff in here, I guess, for women. And the reason I take these vitamins is I actually only have 1 ovary. You know that. But my audience members don't know that. I only have 1 ovary because in 2017, I had to have an emergency surgery. I had a cyst, which was the size of like my fist on my left ovary. And they said that if this thing erupted, it could kill me. So I was like, take it out. So they did. And now I only have my right ovary. So I just do everything I can do to remain healthy as possible because I'd like to have children someday. So I just take these vitamins, and now my nails are looking great, and my ovary is strong and healthy.
I remember when I was following you on Instagram, but I've never met you. And so I was just watching as you like would post updates of being in the hospital. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening to this poor girl?
It was horrible. Yeah, I was in the hospital for about a month, and my mom was with me that entire month that I was there. And it's crazy because I thought I was close to my mom before, but that month really just brought us closer than ever. You know, I'm super grateful to be alive. I'm super grateful to have my 1 working ovary that I do have, and I am grateful for my health every day because in 2017, your girl was basically dying.
There was one picture in particular. I remember you had a walker. It was funny because I think even you like were joking about how you looked like an old lady with the walker.
Yeah, I looked like a cute little old lady with the walker. You know, I only had that walker for about a week because I went to a comedy show and I brought the walker and somebody stole the walker.
Wait, what? I did not know this. What do you mean somebody stole the walker?
Someone stole the walker. I came out of like the bathroom or something and the walker was gone.
Wow, a hot item on the streets.
Yeah, well,
walker.
Here's the thing, Eric. It was like a small mini walker, so it was really cute. And I guess maybe it would be good for like a prop or something. But I just remember it was so horrible. Like I was like crying and bawling, and you know my mom was like consoling me over it. And then I was like, okay, maybe this is like God's sign that I'm supposed to walk. Like I'm supposed to walk without a device, you know? But it was very emotional. It was horrible. Like who steals a walker? I could barely walk. I needed this walker. And then I go to a comedy show to do stand up at the comedy show. I didn't even bring the walker on stage with me. It got stolen around the time where I was on stage or I'd come out of the bathroom, but all I know is the walker was gone because I didn't want to be on stage with the walker.
Well,
I didn't go home with the walker.
I love how you said it was a prop. I'm like, yeah, it was propping you up. It was helping you stay up, literally. I mean, that's so terrible that someone would steal that. I mean, you would go to hell anyways if you were stealing a walker from an old person, but from a disabled woman who just lost one of her ovaries. I mean, I think you're like 2 or 3 levels down in Dante's Inferno at that point.
You know, it's so crazy because it's like when I remember when the doctor came in and told me that they were going to have to remove the ovary, you know, and I didn't have you in my life, so I wasn't even like thinking about kids or anything like that. But, you know, that moment where someone comes in and I didn't know, like, okay, am I still going to be able to have children? Like, what's going on? And, you know, they were like, we'll do our best to save the ovary. But it was really emotional for me.
My God. And then you turn into an old person. These goddamn kids taking my walker. I mean, this is why we do the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I just found out she got her walker stolen. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's terrible, but it's amazing. That's like movie sad.
You know, and a part of me is kind of grateful that I only have the one ovary because for about a year, I carried this cyst in my stomach that was this big. And in photos, I looked so bloated, like to the point where my parents were like questioning like why my stomach looked so lopsided, why I looked so bloated all the time. And it's because I had this freaking cyst on the left side. So now I'm like, okay, well, if I can carry that thing for a year, I can carry like a preemie.
Yeah, I was going to say, ironically, you had one ovary, but you were like first trimester pregnant for like a year. That's incredible.
So now there's more room in my stomach, I guess. So I have to take these steel libido vitamins so I can stay super healthy. I also take folic acid because I have spina bifida, and they say that, you know, a deficiency in folic acid could cause spina bifida. So they recommend women who have spina bifida to take folic acid to prevent, you know, for future pregnancies of a baby to have spina bifida. But regardless, you know, people say, when I get pregnant, all I want is a healthy baby. Do you know how offensive that is? That's offensive.
Oh.
You know,
That's one of my favorite jokes.
God, did you just burp? That was disgusting.
Yeah, I tried to burp off mic, but I'm sure it'll capture it. See, some people.
It's okay, baby. Better out than in, right?
Some people laugh at jokes. Some people burp at jokes to show that they really thought it was funny. You know, either or. But yeah, no, that is one of my favorite jokes. That's a phrase all of us say without thinking about it. Oh, I just hope the baby's healthy.
I just hope the baby's healthy. And it's like, you know what? For me, I just hope the baby's alive. Oh God, see, even that, you know, it doesn't matter. You're gonna offend people either way. But what I mean is, whether or not my baby would be disabled or not, I would love my baby.
Aw, yeah, I'll love our baby for sure. What do you mean, my baby? It's gonna be our baby.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah, Lila does that a lot. She'll say it's her room when it's our room.
My room.
I mean,
it is my room.
Then again, if you look at how it's decorated, you would not say it's our room. You would say it's her room. She is the one who completely decorated it. It actually looks great. It looks a lot better than when I decorated my room because it looked like no one decorated the room.
Yeah.
It looked pretty bad back in the day before I met.
It was trash. It was trash. Let's just be honest.
You didn't like the lawn chairs that were my furniture.
You know, one of these days we're gonna do a whole podcast episode about our living situations. We'll have to do that because Eric's bedroom was just like, it was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, it was better than mine though because I had rats at my house. So literally, I had rats.
And then I got you, and everything changed. It was great.
Minus the black mold that we dealt with for 7 months.
Well, yeah, we had these things
we need to do a whole episode about black mold, okay? Because first of all, I watched like hours of YouTube videos about black mold. We have to do an episode about our black mold experience. It just has to be podcast titled Black Mold.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, we'll do another fully dedicated episode to that because it's not something you could do in the middle of a podcast. It is
it's a full hour-long episode. It's just so much.
Yeah, but Yeah, it was crazy. We earned this place for sure. We went through the trials and the tribulations of a bunch of different spots, and now we're in a place that actually, makes me happy to walk into it every time. It's really nice.
Was that offensive when I said a baby born alive?
I mean, of course everyone's going to hope for that. What?
I don't know.
That's such a 2020 question.
God, isn't that crazy that I'm over here questioning what I say on a podcast now, on my own podcast in my own house, where I'm like, is that offensive? Is the Twitter mob gonna come after me?
The cancel culture is gonna cancel you.
The cancel culture. Okay, speaking of cancel culture, Eric wrote a monologue, which I'm very excited and interested in hearing. This is my good camera. Do I look nice in this angle?
Oh yeah, that's the Lila cam. It's set
The
up
Lila
just for you.
cam.
I'm out of focus in that cam because it does not matter. It's all about Lila.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. It's all about you too. I love you, honey. Wait, that's the screen cover. Okay, honey, I am so excited to hear your monologue. What is it about?
All right. Well, it's again about the mob, So I found this quote. It's amazing. Quote, "The mob has many heads, but no brains." Although Thomas Fuller said this statement in the 17th century, it still rings true to this very day. In fact, it might be more applicable to now, the 21st century, where popular statements are retweeted and unpopular statements are deemed hate speech that will get you canceled. This is the reason why hate speech is protected by the First Amendment, because last decade's hate speech becomes speech that people will hate you for if you don't agree. Not even a dozen years ago, it was in vogue to say, support our troops. Now it is considered old-fashioned if you are not on the side of screw 12. We live in a society of reallocated racism. Instead of building people up, society at large feels that we have to tear other groups down to make equality. This is the fight fire with fire strategy taken too literally. Although the protesters in Charlottesville were deemed domestic terrorists by the media because they had lit torches, they did not do any damage to any buildings. Meanwhile, the domestic terrorists of 2020 did an estimated billions of dollars of damages through their arson. MLK said not to judge a man by the color of his skin, but the content of his character. Instead of building up disadvantaged groups in America, we are trying to tear down other groups through the reallocation of racism. In California, one of the targets of this reallocation of racism has been Asians. The creators of the bill ACA 5 was meant to dismantle a previous bill, Prop 209, passed in 1996. What is this racist Prop 209? Prop 209 prohibits California from discriminating against or granting preferential treatment on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the operation of public employment, public education, and public contracting. In other words, Prop 209 is racist. How dare California try to look at the content of one's character instead of looking at the color of their skin, like MLK intended? The creators of ACA 5 are calling this affirmative action. But affirmative action for one group is just tearing down another group. ACA 5 points to the fact that Asians have a 42% acceptance rate to California colleges. And this bill's goal is to lower the acceptance rate down to 12% for Asians. Why do Asians have the highest acceptance rate, you ask?
Why is that?
Well, in 1965, the Asian Immigration Act was passed with the aim of attracting, quote, skilled labor into the U.S. This was the attempt at getting Asia to send their best. But it wasn't Trump who deemed this, so it wasn't deemed racist. Asian immigrants were given expedited access to our immigration system if they were doctors, engineers, lawyers, etc. So in the 60s, we only accept Asians who did well in school. And now in 2020, in California, we're going to punish them for doing well in school. This is why the First Amendment protects hate speech, because one decade's hate speech is another decade's progressive agenda. In Chaz, or CHOP, the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest or Autonomous Zone, the reallocation of racism is the thesis statement for this country's existence. In the ultra-progressive Chaz, the progressives enacted policies that were not too long ago deemed hate speech. Chaz enforced the borders of their newfound country at the beginning of the creation of Chaz. When Trump wanted to build a wall along the Mexican border, that action was deemed racist. When Chaz did so, it was deemed progressive due to the preventing of cops from entering their new sovereign nation. Chaz has adopted apartheid-like policies where there is a separation of races. When South Africa did this, it was considered racist, because it was. To put the cherry on top of this contradictory sundae, the Chaz banned Jews from attempting to join the city council. I thought banning Jews was the thesis statement of one of history's greatest fascists, but now this is considered anti-fascist. Of course, when it comes to the reallocation of racism in 2020, no group gets the focus more than white people. We see this in tearing down of statues of people who were the greatest allies to disadvantaged people and minorities of their eras. Just recently, Teddy Roosevelt's statue was taken down. You know, the guy who invited the first black man to eat at the White House, Booker T. Washington. Teddy Roosevelt, you're a racist. It does not end there. Ulysses S. Grant statue was taken down. The guy who won the Civil War for the Union, which allowed Abraham Lincoln's successful freeing of the slaves. Racist. The mob has many heads, but no brains. And for them, no ally is good enough. No one's content of their character is looked at. The only thing they look at is the color of one's skin. MLK will be so proud. Finally, Shaun King, who is credited as one of the main leaders of BLM, has become the king of this reallocation of racism. Shaun King said something that would have been deemed hate speech not 4 years ago, but 4 months ago in the far gone era of February of 2020. Shaun King asked Americans to, quote, tear down statues and any stained glass paintings of a white, blue-eyed Jesus. They are a gross form of white supremacy created as tools of propaganda. They should all come down, unquote. Now, I'm a Jew, and, you know, Jesus is not just another Jew to us. He's the same as Jerry Seinfeld or Spielberg or Sandy Koufax. But I will never be on the side of destroying art. Destroying art puts you in the same position as the conquistadors, Mao Zedong, and Hitler. What was the aim of all three of these situations? To delete the history of the past so that they can control the masses' future. What was the other common thread between the three? None of them saw this as hate speech. They all framed it as a reallocation of racism, with the poor scapegoat being the unwitting victim. Now, I want to end this with, what would Jesus have to say about this? And I quote, "But I tell you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who mistreat you and persecute you." Unquote. I guess by 2020 standards, this Jesus guy was just not woke enough for Shaun King and the rest of the mob.
I love Jesus. What a quote by our great Lord and Savior. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I'm glad he's your friend.
Yeah, I like him. I like Jesus. He's a cool guy. Great Jew. Great Jew.
Good. See, I love Jesus so much. That's why I'm with a Jew, and, you know, they're friends, so it's good. Honey, I enjoyed your monologue. You know, what I really find interesting about the mob is I think the mob is very hypocritical, you know, and I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like Jesus. I don't want to judge people. Jesus didn't judge people. Jesus said, come to me, you tell me your sins, and I'll forgive you. Even the woman at the well, okay? Y'all know her as the whore. But even Jesus told her to come on, you know, and he forgave her. And I just feel like the mob is not very forgiving. I don't care if Jesus is black, white, purple, yellow, green. I don't care if he's an alien. He's a person, you know, that is kind and wants to be forgiving of people. We all make mistakes, okay? Some I guess there's, I don't know. I feel like if I say the wrong thing, the mob's gonna come after me, but fuck it.
Wait, so are you saying Jesus wouldn't be part of the cancel culture?
No. Jesus would not be part of the cancel culture because Twitter is run by the goddamn devil. Twitter is demonic. Twitter is ran by the devil. The devil loves to bring people up and then tear them down. And that's exactly what goes on in Twitter. You know, Twitter is just a lot of people spending too much time on there. You know, it's very interesting, Eric, how we idolize these celebrities like idols, and we shouldn't be doing that. And for me, the whole reason I came into stand-up comedy was because I was lost and alone, and I felt like shit because I was tired of not being able to speak my truth, and I came into stand-up comedy because I wanted to get on stage and speak my truth and to talk about all of the things that used to hurt me, right? And now online, you have to be this online activist, and it's like, I'm just trying to figure out my own life right now. I know that's selfish. My God, Jesus help me.
I know. I agree. I think what you said is very true. Like Jesus is talking about loving people for their sins and, love people's flaws and their vulnerabilities. I think the devil would be the person of saying, oh, if you're not perfect, you're canceled. Because I think the devil would understand that no one is perfect. And because no one is perfect, everyone would be susceptible to this cancel culture. I think that
I just feel like everybody online, like, they're so quick to cancel other people when it's like we all have things. I don't know. We all have things. I mean, there are certain things that I guess I don't like I don't like the term cancel. If you don't like somebody, just unfollow and block them. Even, what's interesting is former friends are your enemies. Your enemies are former friends. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people who don't like me anymore. It's just fine. Just unfollow me, unfriend me. But to go out of your way to be like, oh, fuck this person completely, just stop watching their stuff. That's,
Yeah, and as a Jew, I may not, follow Jesus like intently, but he is the most quoted prophet in the Quran. And he says a lot of stuff that I agree with. I mean, I love the quote of he who has not sinned cast the first stone. And it's like everyone, is proverbially stoned now, and they're throwing their stones at everybody when they don't realize that we all have something that could be canceled by the cancel culture. Everyone has mistakes. So I don't like the situation of the cancel culture because it's going to be an eye for an eye, and then the world's going to go blind. It just doesn't seem like it's going to end well.
Yeah. And it's, I guess also with stand-up, it's cancel culture really hurts stand-up so much.
Absolutely.
Because, you want to have that freedom to go on stage and to talk about anything. And now we are telling people what they can and can't say, and it's like, even to say that I love America could be
controversial.
Yeah, it could be controversial. But I do love America. I am so grateful that I can be in a country where I can put out this podcast and I can put out my thoughts. There are other parts in the world where if you had video of you going against your government, you could be jailed or killed. And I think a lot of Americans who have not traveled, they don't even realize that. They're just on Twitter saying all of these things, and it's like they don't even realize that in other countries you'd be killed for even having your thoughts. And to be in America now where people are trying to cancel people's thoughts, it's scary.
And it's also, if you have studied history, it has happened before many times. It happened in the French Revolution. It happened in Mao Zedong's China, like I mentioned. Well, and for instance, one of the funniest things about the French Revolution was, that famous quote, "Let them eat cake," right? It was Marie Antoinette, and it was her it was talking about, that it was used to showcase the divide between the rich and the poor. Well, Marie Antoinette never said that. It was a fake quote spread by the mob to enrage everyone towards Marie Antoinette and the upper class. And so it wasn't even said by her, yet
Wow.
she got beheaded for that statement and her beliefs that she never had.
Yeah. See, that's crazy. And I'm just going to say this. I don't try to pretend that I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I have many faults, okay? I am a former drug addict, alcoholic, and I work every day to be a better version than I was the day before. Do I make mistakes? Do I regress at times? Yes. But I can actively look at my life, and my whole goal is just to become more self-aware and to become a master of my own self, to be able to regulate my emotions and be able to just be better every single day. And I think that, if we each just took a look at our own lives, if you took a look at your own life, there is at least one thing you could look at and be like, oh, I could improve in this era. I could improve in this area. But I think a lot of times people would rather look at other people's lives and be like, oh, this is what they're doing wrong and this is what they're doing wrong, rather than take responsibility for their own fuck ups, rather than take responsibility for, oh, maybe I'm not where I want to be in life because of me. It's like we want to place blame on other people. And I just think that as humanity and as a collective, we can all do something to be better. And if we really did do that, the world would be a better place. I know I'm like being like, oh, kumbaya, but
No, I agree.
you get what I mean? You get what I'm saying.
I think it starts with the family, and in family, you see a lot of, you're special, you're the best, which creates a lot of people who have empathy for themselves and what they've done, but no empathy or compassion for others. I saw this really great survey back in World War II era. 2 out of 10 people at the maximum said that they were very important people. By the 1990s, it was 6 out of 10, and I feel like today it would be like 9 out of 10. And it's just this feeling of, oh, I'm important, therefore you're not. And I think that's an issue in today's era.
There's just a lot of hypocrisy, I guess. That's how I feel. Like, I feel like there's a people are really quick to point out your flaws, but they won't point out their own.
Well, I think,
and I'm here to say I'm very flawed, but I do my best every day to just be better than I was before. And part of my journey of becoming, like, I guess, my journey of really diving deep into what I wanted and how the kind of life I wanted to build really started at 25. And I feel like part of my journey's gift is you coming into my life.
Likewise.
It was a gift from God and Jesus, and Jesus gave me a Jew because I love him so much. But you were part of my gift of me looking inward and being like, okay, what decisions can I make that really shows myself I love me? And I think it's really funny because our society is like, I love myself and I'm really into myself. I'm taking selfies and stuff, but you're not necessarily doing things to show yourself you love yourself, right? By making decisions that show yourself you love yourself. Like for me, like I'll just go back to my drinking. I had to take a look and I'm like, okay, if I really loved myself, would I really be putting all these toxins into my body the way that I am? And if I was being honest, no. So that's why I stopped. I was poisoning myself.
Yeah,
and I love myself, so I got to stop doing that.
Yeah, the escapism, yeah. And to me, that's really what attracted me to you, was how honest you were about your flaws and your vulnerabilities, and how, you have, used your attitude to overcome the adversity of, mistakes you made and bad decisions you made, and, things that have just happened to you. And that really was the number one thing that attracted me to you, was you have such a good attitude, and it's infectious. It really makes you want to be better, and I really feel like that's the number one quality that I truly admire about you. And I know that's why you're going to be a great mother of our children, is because you're going to teach them that no matter what, you can overcome it, but it starts with you, and it starts with, being honest about the mistakes you made and really working on yourself. And I look at you, and it is so evident how you have worked on yourself,
Oh,
and it
thank
makes
you,
me want to work
honey.
on myself.
Thank you, honey. And I'm sorry that, I sing sometimes Eric gets annoyed because I sing I Love Jesus to the tune of I Love Candy around the house.
It's just
I'm
because
sorry.
it will be stuck in your head.
I love Jesus. Dun, dun, dun. I know. It's
And
annoying.
trust me, audience, that will be stuck in your head forever. It
Uh,
it is. It really it will stay in your mind forever. But no, I love it. It's just like, my God, she sings it
Okay,
a
you know
lot.
what's really interesting? This to go into religion, like we got the church and all of this stuff that people think that you're supposed to do certain things, but if you really like read the Bible, all the main basics of what Jesus says is if you come to me, you repent your sins and you accept me into your heart, you get access to heaven. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. You just have to be like, dear God, I have made all these mistakes. I'm trying to be better. I accept you into my heart, and boom, gates of heaven are open. All this other stuff that people add into it, it's like, just be a kind person, go out into the world, be loving when you can, try not to judge your neighbors, and do the best that you can do. That's it. It's not all this other stuff, is just fluff.
Yeah, I do feel like in this time period we have gone from, don't judge your neighbors to we have no compassion for the people we judge. Just look at the quote unquote racists. Those people get zero compassion. In fact, they get public shaming and they get attacked and they lose their job, and it's like, I feel like that's just going to entrench them further in the beliefs that you think that they have. And so if you really want to change someone, you got to show them compassion. Compassion and love are really the ways that you get people to change their mind. The hatred will just get them hardened with their beliefs. It really will.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And, because in the end, Lila showed me a lot of love and compassion, and she changed my mind on so many different things. And to me, I feel like that's the number one message of this podcast is if you want to change someone, you have to love them. You can't hate them. And in this era, I feel like that's the thing we forget the most. Just like Lila said from her little teacup, compassion. Compassion is the real thing that will change a person, and if you aren't providing that, then you're not going to change them. You're just going to further them down the other path.
And live your life, and let your life be a testimony of being kind. I every day on my Instagram, with all the chaos in the world, I've been posting, me watering my plants, or I'll just be showing my fish, and it really warms my heart when I get messages from different people all over the world who show me pictures of their plants, or I inspired them to rescue a beta from Petco. It makes me really happy. It's like there are little things like that you can, if you put out love into the world, you can get love back. And there is so much negativity out there, and you can look for it and you will find it. So if you can add just a little bit of joy to the world, you never know how much that could be impacting somebody else, because there's a lot of sadness in the world. There's a lot of sick shit out there too, but I want to add a little bit of love.
Absolutely. I think that's such a great message to end this podcast on, baby. I think you nailed it.
I love you, Eric Abbenante.
Oh, I love you, Lila Hart.
Well, this has been an episode of the Comedy Cupcake. Please leave in the comments something that might get you canceled,
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will do that.
Yeah, leave something in the comments.
Or leave in the comments an act of love and compassion that you did, and I bet that act of love and compassion will change someone's opinion.
Yeah. All right. See you soon.
Catch you next time. Comedy Cupcake.